right here, one. Thank you, guys. I'll see you. How was the experience, A to Z?
Alright, I'm gonna give you guys a rundown.
Yeah.
I'm on my first Ellie interview. This is big time. Alright,
Reporting.
Shout out to ES News.
Thank you.
So, I came here knowing it was gonna be tough because I know I'm not a boxer, so I know the conditioning is different. But starting at the bottom of the hill, getting all the way up to the top by the Hollywood sign up, coming to the observatory, it's a different type of conditioning. I'm in good shape, great shape, but it's football shape. It's different than boxing. So respect for Manny being able to do this, especially at
possesses, but it's not a thumping power, it's that explosive speed, that explosive power, the full work he gets in position. And all of a sudden he's landed 3, 4, 5 shots and then he's angled off. A lot like I did in my fight against Lopez. A lot of that sparring paid off and it did shape me. And I know he did put out a tweet as well saying that I hope the sparring we did helped you in this fight straight away.
That's amazing.
And I was also excited. He's a legend of the sport.
He is a legend, and he's such an unusual guy. You know what's crazy about him is his calves.
Yeah.
When you look at that.
Joe Rogan was impressed by Cam Benham's praise for Manny Pacquiao after training with him. Benham said Pacquiao wasn't just posting edited clips for show. He's truly disciplined, fast, powerful, and still has endurance to return to the ring. Rogan agreed, saying it proves Pacquiao's comeback is real, not just for social media. In a recent interview, UFC commentator Joe Rogan praised boxing legend Manny Pacquiao's intense training as he prepares to face Mario Barrios at 46. Rogan admired Pacquiao's dedication and physical strength, noting how he continues to defy expectations. He also commended Coach Freddie Roach and highlighted Pacquiao's ability to train with remarkable focus and intensity despite his age. According to Joe Rogan, Manny Pacquiao's training sessions reflect his deep passion for boxing and unwavering commitment to excellence. Under Rogan's video, fans share their thoughts on Pacquiao's return, especially his intense preparation. One fan declared, "Manny Pacquiao is the best boxer ever, and no one can argue that with a 50-0 record, those can be built by avoiding real fighters." Another added, "When you see a real fighter, you just know boxing isn't about money for Manny, it's his life. I hope he truly puts Mario Barrios down."
That's a fucking dude. Once he steps to that roast, like, this is a whole different set of rules he's flying with.
like Keith Urban talking about going to crucify him and stuff like that. And you just,
ooh, don't say that.
He got crucified. I wish you the best too. Good luck in that.
A third fan commented, "This is real training. The endurance Pacquiao shows isn't common, even among young fighters. His movement is sharp, clearly the result of regular runs and discipline. If anyone can do the unthinkable, it's Manny." Pacquiao's upcoming fight against Mario Barrios has sparked major interest, with fans and analysts eagerly awaiting the bout. Joe Rogan's praise for Pacquiao's training has only added to the hype, as many believe the veteran still has plenty left to give in the ring.
When you look at that, they're giants. They're like a thigh.
And I know the reason why, because in General Santos, the mountains that he runs, and that steep hill, that's why they're so big, because he's always constantly running mountains. And I was doing the mountain runs with him.
Yeah.
My calves started getting bigger and bigger. But I understand, why his calves are huge. But he's always bouncing, he's always moving around. Like, he'll bounce for like 20-something rounds. He'll do his pads and he's jumping up and down. And, he really is.
With a career spanning over 2 decades, Manny Pacquiao has continually shown his ability to adapt and stay ahead through hard work and dedication. As he prepares to face Mario Barrios, many wonder if he can still compete at the highest level. Joe Rogan's praise for his training suggests he believes Pacquiao still has the skills and physical strength to take on the best in the world.
Yeah, when you look at that, they're giant. They're like a thigh.
And I know the reason why, because in General Santos, the mountains that he runs and that steep hill, that's why they're so big, because he's always constantly running mountains. And I was doing the mountain runs with him.
Yeah.
my calves started getting bigger and bigger. But I understand, yeah, why his calves are huge. But he's always bouncing, he's always moving around.
Yes.
He'll bounce for like 20-something rounds. He'll do his pads and he's jumping up and down, and he really is.
Pacquiao's training camp has been intense, with a veteran boxer putting in relentless effort to sharpen his skills and strategy. His upcoming bout against Mario Barrios is shaping up to be a thrilling and closely contested fight. With Pacquiao's impressive preparation and Joe Rogan's strong endorsement, fans are expecting a standout performance. However, while excitement builds, some experts and commentators have expressed concern about Pacquiao's age and the risks of returning to elite competition at this stage in his career.
Up and down, and he really is an unbelievable person, unbelievable athlete, and a legend of the sport. I think as time progresses, people are really gonna appreciate his greatness.
Yeah, and coming back from defeats too. I mean, he's a guy that's had his downs. He's had his ups and his downs. And, he's always smiling and always friendly to people.
One reaction came from NFL quarterback Aaron Rodgers during episode 2325 of the Joe Rogan Experience, where he expressed disbelief, saying that's kind of crazy, he's 46 years old. Joe Rogan, while acknowledging Pacquiao's legendary career across 8 weight classes, took a more skeptical approach. Rather than dismissing the comeback outright, he hinted at the possibility of PD use, stating, "He's not going to come back at 46 on the match, I guarantee you." Rogan also questioned the authenticity of Pacquiao's physical transformation over the years, adding, "Yeah, I mean, boxing has always had a PD issue." He contrasted this with MMA, particularly the UFC, where stricter drug testing has significantly changed the sport's dynamics. When Aaron Rodgers asked why changes were made regarding weight classes and testing, Joe Rogan shifted the focus to the U.S. anti-doping agency, USADA, crediting it with significantly cleaning up the UFC. To support his point, Rogan cited former UFC heavyweight Alistair Overeem as a prime example. He recalled Overeem's dramatic physical transformation before and after USADA's testing protocols were implemented. Alistair, when he fought Brock Lesnar, was absolutely jacked, 260 pounds of solid muscle, ripped, and one of the most elite strikers on earth. That was Overeem, Rogan said. But once drug testing was enforced, Overeem's physique changed noticeably. He became a normal person with good fighting skills, but he wasn't a destroyer anymore, Rogan added, using the transformation as a cautionary tale about the impact of PD regulation in combat sports.
Ups and his downs. He's always smiling and always friendly to people. It's like he's so admirable just as a human being.
And it shows too that defeats. I love how the UFC is. Losses are losses.
Yeah.
Boxing has this stereotype where the zero is so important. I'm undefeated, but would you?
At UFC 141, Alistair Overeem ended Brock Lesnar's night in just one round with a brutal liver kick, showcasing his peak physical form at the time. Since then, the UFC's partnership with USADA has come to an end after more than a year of increasing tension, raising questions about the future of anti-doping efforts in MMA. While Joe Rogan often offers a nuanced perspective on PEDs, he remains critical of USADA's legacy and its impact on the sport. Rogan has also expressed a belief that there are certain situations where PD use could be considered acceptable, further fueling debate on regulation in combat sports.
He lost to Floyd. Manny is also like a world-class pool player.
Well, he's got the pool tables at his mansion in his house.
He's really good.
So he's not
Like he plays like a professional.
and he loves his basketball.
Yeah,
You should see this
he's
guy
great at basketball,
shooting
too.
threes. It's unbelievable.
He's a serious athlete. Did training with him, did you make any changes to the way you approach fights or the way you prepare for fights after training with him?
I did. I learned the 1%ers, the extra bit to do the extra rounds.
So what's the exception that might justify PED use? Joe Rogan explained it back in 2015, saying athletes have to juggle wrestling, kickboxing, and jiu-jitsu with limited time to train and recover. That's when Dr. Feelgood comes in to help with recovery. During a period when USADA was increasing testing on top UFC fighters like Anderson Silva, John Jones, and Hector Lombard, Rogan called steroid use in combat sports an epidemic. Still, he's never been fully against PEDs, especially for recovery and post-surgery rehab, stressing the importance of fighters healing properly to stay competitive and healthy.
And it's the extra bit to do the extra rounds. Usually before the sparring with Manny Pacquiao, you do your 8 rounds or your 10 rounds of pads and you're sparring. But that's it, you do your ab lock and you finish. With him, he does his pad work, he does his sparring, but then he's on the bag, he's on the shadow boxing, he's there doing the pad work. So the extra rounds just builds that conditioning and that stamina. And that's what I just found, that push more rounds. If your body can keep going, push more and more. That's what I love.
Jump ahead to 2025, and the tension between the UFC and USADA remains high, especially after controversies around testing protocols for Conor McGregor during his recovery from a serious injury. Dana White openly criticized how McGregor was treated. Joe Rogan, a longtime supporter of science-based athlete recovery, spoke out again on episode 2285 of his podcast with Andrew Schultz. He highlighted how USADA banned UFC fighters from using stem cell therapy to speed up recovery. Rogan said, "Well, let me tell you something. There's a reason why USADA didn't let people use it in the UFC and why Dr. Free Sports don't allow it. It's because it works. It's really stupid, but they see it as performance enhancing because it helps you heal faster from injuries, from training, from recovery."
I'm excited and happy. I'm back. What's the difference this time returning to wild card from the first time you stepped foot at the wild card to now? The same. I feel the same, and I feel that hungriness of training.
Manny Pacquiao has been training intensely, like he never left the sport. He didn't have to look far for inspiration to return to the ring. The legendary 8th Division champion, who is set for Hall of Fame enshrinement this weekend, had no real reason to come back at 46, nearly 4 years after his last fight. But the excitement of facing the media ahead of his training camp and the chance to break the record as the oldest welterweight title holder is what drives him. "I returned because I miss boxing," Pacquiao told PBC host Ray Flores during a Los Angeles press conference where he officially announced his challenge against WBC welterweight champion Mario Barrios.
For body recovery, not like before that, just overnight. So we taking sometimes we have to rest. We're taking time to let my body recover like that. But the training intense, hard work, discipline is still the same.
Pacquiao shared, "I missed the whole experience. Interviews, press conferences, training camp. I rested my body for 4 years after being in boxing for 30 years, so it was good to take that break. Now I'm back, and I'm excited to give the fans a great fight." The upcoming bout against Mario Barrios will headline the July 19 PBC on Prime pay-per-view event at the MGM Grand Garden Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada. Interestingly, this is almost exactly 6 years since Pacquiao's last win at the same venue, a memorable split decision victory over then undefeated Keith Thurman in July 2019, when the 40-year-old claimed the WBA welterweight title and added another chapter to his historic career.
The fans, so coming here to witness the fight live, I'm really appreciative of your effort to come here, even despite of this pandemic. You have time to watch live the fight, and I'm sorry that we lost tonight, but I did my best.
The odds aren't exactly in favor of the now 46-year-old Manny Pacquiao. His opponent, 29-year-old Mario Barrios from San Antonio, is the favorite to win according to Bet365 Sportsbook. A victory for Pacquiao would make him not only the oldest welterweight champion ever, but also the only elected Hall of Famer to win a title during a comeback. No fighter already in Hall of Fame or awaiting enshrinement has had a successful return like this. I know Mario Barrios trains hard. He has to defend this belt, and I am his challenger, Pacquiao said. As the only fighter in history to hold a major title across 4 separate decades, Pacquiao knows he must push himself harder than ever. I have to go the extra mile to punish myself to win this fight. This will be Pacquiao's 16th fight at the MGM Grand, a venue that helped introduce him to U.S. fans. Started with his June 2001 upset knockout of then IBF 122 pounds tightless Lelo Ledwaba.
Yeah, I think that, it's a very contentious subject. Like, people moaning about Manny Pacquiao. I think Manny Pacquiao is still good enough to beat most fighters in the top 20 at 147 pounds. He's clearly not the fighter that he once was. You're not going to be at that age. My problem is that
the short notice fight marked the beginning of Pacquiao's incredible journey, eventually making him the second biggest star of his generation and arguably the greatest Asian fighter ever. Yet, there's still an itch only one more fight can satisfy. It means a lot to me in my boxing career to break my own record, Pacquiao said. My goal is to leave a legacy for my fans and for the younger generation training to become champions. As an 8-division world champion, from flyweight to super welterweight, Pacquiao seemed to close a 26-year career in 2021 with a record of 62 wins.
And every month, or 3 months, or 6 months that passes, you do become a lot older. So, I guess there's 2 questions. One is, should he be fighting again? And at the end of the day, if he's good enough to beat everybody outside of the top 20 in the world, then why not? But should he be fighting for the world title? I guess that's another question. In the commercial world of boxing, the answer is yeah, probably.
Mario Barrios retained the WBC welterweight title with a draw against Abel Ramos last November in Arlington, Texas. The sanctioning body has also officially re-entered Manny Pacquiao into their rankings, placing him at number 5 in the world. This move is important because WBC rules require champions to defend their titles only against qualified challengers. Ranking Pacquiao this way is essentially a necessary step to sanction the upcoming fight between Barrios and Pacquiao.
I think when you've achieved what is achieved, you've always got the right to do things a little bit different to others. And with all due respect, Barrios is not Boots, and Barrios is not Corby. And that's why we pushed the Conor Benn fight. Conor Benn, his best win is against Algieri or Van Heerden. So actually, Pacquiao is a step.
Some might argue that re-ranking Pacquiao isn't fair to active fighters who have been pushed down the list. But that's tough luck for them, as their names don't bring the World Boxing Council the same money or attention as a living legend like Pacquiao. Despite him being 46 and without a win since 2019, Pacquiao is set to challenge Mario Barrios for the WBC World Welterweight title on July 19th in Las Vegas. Meanwhile, Eddie Hearn has expressed doubts about arranging a fight between Pacquiao and Jaron Boots Ennis if Pacquiao does return. Strong reports, however, link Pacquiao to the July showdown with Barrios.
Yeah, they saw that, but they're the one they better support it because they saw my speed, my power, and then body condition.
Rumors about this fight intensified when Pacquiao re-entered the WBC welterweight rankings at number 5 this week. The move sparked controversy since Pacquiao has been inactive since losing his WBA title to Eudenis Ugas in 2021 and hasn't recorded a win since defeating Keith Thurman in 2019. Despite this, his high ranking makes him eligible for a title shot, as only fighters ranked in the top 15 can challenge for a full world title.
Getting back in the ring again for a world title fight.
Well, obviously, I definitely have to do with money. 1, 2. I think Manny Pacquiao, I think his D game is a lot better than anybody, a lot of guys' A game, even with the age. But you have to take into account the last time he stepped foot in that ring against Ugas. He didn't look good. He was outmatched by, a fighter, a young.
And I'm not here wearing a righteous hat to say it's absolutely disgraceful that Pacquiao is fighting. But honestly, I can't believe someone can just disappear from boxing for 5 years, be 46 years old, and then suddenly be ranked that high. I think it's disrespectful. By no means should a fighter be able to just call up the governing body and say, "Put me in at number 5, mate." At least put him at 14, if anything. Why put him at 5? Why put him in at all? That's all for now. For the best updates on boxing news, moments, and events, stay connected by subscribing to our YouTube channel, and don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss quality content like this.